Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing off the brand new Barbarian. There are multiple builds, but check this out. On the 7th Hammer of the Ancients, watch what happens. Giant, massive shockwave. So let's go ahead and go over all of the new Angelic legendary weapons. These are the sanctified weapons. Let's go over all of their effects real quick, and then we'll show you guys gameplay of every single one in action. So starting right off on this Remorseless over here, we have in the orange line of text on the white item, where Hammer of the Ancients hits in all directions around the Barbarian. Every 7th cast of Hammer of the Ancients unleashes a powerful shockwave. So that's what this one does, and I'll show you guys all of them here. So it's going to be an LOD build, but you can play this with Waste if you want to with a different build, and I'll show you guys that later. But this is just a T16, so we can rotate through different builds here. You want something so you can proc your the Band of Might, so we actually take less damage. Or you can run the Ground Stomp, which is definitely meta as well. But you can see we're just dealing massive amounts of damage. Like I had shielding. All right, so this is the brand new build for the Hammer of the Ancients. Now, the more meta build is actually to play with Whirlwind and Hammer of the Ancients, and I'll show you guys that one, and I'll show you guys that legendary Angelic effect as well. So let's go back to town, let's swap builds over here, and I will show you guys that one as well. So we'll go ahead and equip this one, and this one is going to be considered more of the meta one. So what this one does is it makes it so Whirlwind pulls in and holds all enemies within 25 yards. This is actually way better than the rune that you normally could throw in Whirlwind. Let's go ahead and equip this one, and currently this is one of the most meta ways to actually play the build. So let's go ahead and show off this one as well. So we're running a Wrenching Smash for this one. So just like the other build, we're going to be activating our buffs, but the gameplay is a little bit different. We're going to be actually whirlwinding, and it's going to pull in all of the enemies with this effect over here. We're running Echoing Fury as well. So what it does, it's kind of hard to show off at a lower rift. We can still kill the enemies literally by just whirlwinding, but let me find an elite so you guys can see the actual gameplay. So what we're going to do is we're going to gather a bunch of enemies up. Oh, we have another shielder. But we're going to be spinning around, and then once they are pulled towards us, we get to hit them with Hammers of the Ancient, and they take a massive amount of damage. Now, keep in mind, we can only run one Sanctified Power, so we're not getting the Hammer of the Ancients hits in all directions, but that's fine. We just activate it where they are, and we're going to be A-okay on that. But this build is heavily cooldown reduction dependent. You know what, it's going to look a lot better if we go to like a higher GR. So what we'll do is we'll do like a GR 100. Not the full thing, just enough so you guys can see the gameplay. Otherwise, you really don't get the full picture of this build. So let's go ahead and reset the Rift over here. And this one is going to be probably one of the more powerful ones. Currently on the leaderboards, if you're wondering what is the most meta way to play, this is the meta build right now with the Whirlwind variant. So let's go do a GR 100 so we can actually gather up the enemies properly, so you guys can see how the build actually works.
Brave the rifts, and you will be well.
And it's actually really fun. It's a completely new way to play, and a lot of different builds can actually utilize this. So you'll see we're going to be pulling in all of these enemies, and then we're going to do a giant slam, and that's basically going to delete everything. Here's another like group of elites. See how we're pulling in everything, and then we go for that hammer smash. It's so satisfying. Now, there's still one more build to show you guys, so let's go ahead and do that one.
Not ready yet.
But you got to make sure Call of the Ancients and Wrath of Berserker are both up. Otherwise, you kind of don't deal that much damage. But what's really great with this build, it really lets you time your convention of elements. Our rotation is going to be on fire, so basically after cold, that's our big damage opportunity window. We'll go ahead and close this rift over here. And now we will go for the other last Angelic power. So this last one over here is going to make it so hitting enemies generates a stack of Tempest Rhythm. So this is the second line of orange text on the other secondary here. So hitting enemies generates stacks of Tempest Rhythm. Activating Wrath of the Berserker consumes 50 stacks of Tempest Rhythm and startles enemies within 16 yards, causing them to take 0.5% increased damage per stack for 10 seconds. So you have max 100 stacks. You can throw this on basically any build and it becomes a lot better. In fact, the only build which is actually surprising is the hammer hitting in multiple directions is actually the least popular one in terms of like the leaderboards. It's still like okay, it's not like it's gonna not be able to do like T16, but there's probably better builds. If you want to do speed T16, you could just run wastes and you'll be much faster. But I'm gonna show you the Wrath build. Let's go ahead and open up another rift over here, and you guys can see this as well. But just as a heads up, as right now, most of the builds are going to be LOD, so you need a lot of pieces of gear to really get this build up and running. You can actually run Aquilus if you want to. That's the one where when you have a certain amount of resource, you're going to be taking less damage. I've seen that on the leaderboard as well. Just to go over a couple of the different builds, this is the armor that I'm talking about, where well above a certain amount of resource. But the armor is basically swappable. Everything else, it's pretty much going to be like best in slot for all the builds. You can run Gavel of Judgment here. This, again, isn't necessarily going to be a build guide. However, if you guys are new here and you do want to see the builds for like every single one of these, I'll make individual videos. This one's mostly just to go over all of the new angel power. So let's go ahead and go over this one. This one would probably have to actually go up really high in the GRs to actually show off how good it is. The reason why is because we're going to have to actually build up the stacks. You usually will only get to activate one of them because, you know, Wrath of Berserker has a pretty long cooldown. I really wish we could fit Messerschmitts in here. So one important thing with this build, for those of you guys that do want to play it, we'll activate Wrath of Berserker. Once we have these stacks over here, you'll see, hopefully I can get the rotation on fire too. We'll look for an elite and you can see how much damage it deals because it is insane.
I am hurt.
Gotta make sure we're keeping ourselves alive too. Okay, here we go. Now we have this channeling pylon. That'll make things much easier for seeing the numbers. So let's find an elite. Okay, here we have an elite. We're going to wait for the rotation to be on cold, and then it goes right to fire. So here's the rotation. We're going to activate Wrath of Berserker, and bam! Trillions and billions of damage was there. I know there's too much stuff sometimes to go ahead and show the exact numbers, but you get the idea. You activate this. Actually, since we have this we can actually push up on another one so maybe you guys can see it. Just in case you missed it. Okay, here's another elite over here. We're on fire rotation. Bam. Massive amounts of damage. Because you can see these stacks just building up. And what's cool is I believe you can get this proc not only from you attacking, but any source of damage, which would be, let's say, Call of the Ancients, because this build heavily relies on it anyways, as it's a source of more damage. Plus, it's your way to get resource really fast. So that is the other one where, again, you're getting this Tempest Rhythm. So this one is definitely meta. The Whirlwind one is great if you want to, like, not take damage. So both of these, I would say, in terms of competitiveness, if you're looking to push, like, min-max over on the leaderboard, these are the ones that I would recommend. But, yeah, this is just a brief little showcase and introduction to the brand new Barbarian for Season 27. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of it. Would you guys change anything? I think this one is literally the coolest. Seeing that giant shockwave, maybe that shockwave could do maybe more damage, so it incentivizes people to actually run it. Because right now, most people are just playing with the other abilities, even though they are using Hammer of the Ancients. The Hammer of the Ancient, like, sanctified power just simply isn't being used. But that's my feedback as well as my thoughts on it. It's really, really fun. And I'll also drop another video because some of you guys asked for the Waste build in Season 27, because this build is actually going to be super good. Being able to pull in all of those enemies really makes this speed build even faster. But anyways, I'll drop those videos very soon later down the line. But let me know your thoughts down below. But thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you'd like to see more Diablo and other action RPGs and more games in the future, hit subscribe, turn the bell if you're new here, and you'll see more. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.